Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and this is going to be a brief little review for Sword Art Online, Episode 4, entitled The Black Swordsman. I loved this episode. It was absolutely amazing. From beginning to end, I was riveted, and I found myself chuckling and very misty-eyed by the end of it, actually, much in a similar way to how I was at the end of the previous episode, though for wholly different reasons. Now, this is going to be a spoilery sort of discussion about the episode. If you haven't seen it, please skip the video. Otherwise, you'll be sticking with me, and let's rock and roll. Essentially, from the get-go, we are debuted to two new female characters in the form of Silica, the younger, sort of spunky idol, if you will, and the older Rosalia. Rosalia, from the get-go, just seems a little bit off. You know, she doesn't seem to be honest, or at least she has a certain disingenuous nature about her when she's basically schmoozing Silica that she's going to hoard all the items, all the healing effects and things like that because, you know, other players will fawn over Silica and heal for her. She won't have to worry about that, and it's all a song and dance, and Silica's had enough of this. She wants to be able to do things for herself, so she calls it quits with this little group that is seemingly led by Rosalia. And as a result, she ends up in a very dire circumstance with these three giant baboon-looking creatures surrounding her. And her little pet dragon, Pina, ends up sacrificing himself to save her. And thus we have Carito, our hero, showing up on the scene and taking out the baboons. And then basically making a vow to help her revive this little pet dragon who she just bawls, you know, her eyes out over the loss of, especially when she sees that she has, you know, one last feather that's called Pina's heart. And so there's this item on a higher floor, and this is where Carito is planning to help her get get this item, which is a flower that she can then revive the little dragon. Now, I love that we get a lot of character insights to the offline Carito. As far as his family, we have him discussing why he's helping Silica, and essentially he says he's reminded of his little sister, which is actually his cousin, but they grew up together, and, you know, the cousin isn't aware that they aren't actually siblings. You know, these insights are just fantastic. I was hoping we'd find more stuff like this out. I also got a big kick out of the relationship between Silica and Carito. It was just hilarious seeing, you know, she's used to people fawning over her, and essentially she's fawning over him as the savior that he is and everything like that. And so she gets embarrassed at certain moments, gets a facial blush, you know. And there's a moment of fan service, which is her almost not keeping herself in check, you know, wearing the underoos and nothing else. And it's just, I love the hilarity between the two characters. Now, there's an underwriting thing going on the whole way through this episode that has to go back to Rosalia. And we find out as Carito and Silica go and find this item, this flower, to revive her little dragon, what that's all about. And it floored me that there are people in this game, in this world, they were told flat out, you know, people will die if they're removed from the virtual reality stuff on the outside, and if they die within the game, they'll die on the outside as a consequence. And there are people who don't believe it. There are still player killers, and there are still, you know, pirateers and things like that. And that's very much what Rosalie is up to. And so the motivations behind why Carito has been helping Silica are actually, you know, sort of half and half, wanting to actually help this girl who reminds him of his sister, and also the fact that he made a promise. He was basically kind of hired by someone who was the leader of a guild in this game, that Rosalia was responsible for getting that entire guild wiped out, except for that one guy. And so he was looking out of desperation for anyone to capture her and actually put her in prison in the game, rather than, you know, just revenge and kill her and that kind of thing. So admirable things going on here, and Carito's at the center of it. And I love that he has become so renowned as well. He is a beater. He's actually legitimately a beater. I thought that was just a line he was giving to everybody in one of the previous episodes. But no, in fact, that is the case. He is massively leveled up, and he has massive HP and all of this stuff. You know, when her little crew, after they get the flower and they all try to jump Kirito and Silica, her crew can't even whittle away his HP gauge because of all these skills and all this leveling and everything like that. And so there we have it. We have Kirito the Savior. Now, getting back to why I was misty-eyed by the end of it, I just found it really sentimental and touching that he was able to help Silica bring back her little dragon. And I hope we will be seeing more of her. I suspect we probably will, but that's just my guess for the moment. And I can't say enough good things about this episode. It was just simply amazing and entertaining on every level. Had me engaged, had me curious, dropped revelations left and right, and it was perfect. So I'd love to know what you thought of the episode if you've seen it, and you can post that in the comments below or as a video response. And otherwise, that's going to be it for me, so I'll catch you all later. Peace.